Kieran Trippier is considering ripping up his pre-contract with Wolves. Bernardo Silva is close to signing a deal with Real Madrid. Jadon Sancho will leave Manchester United on a free transfer. And Brentford have appointed Damien Duff as first team head coach. Here are your daily Premier League news headlines. Hey everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the Daily Premier League News Headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. My name's Lee The Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So here we are with some of the main stories today. So Kieran Trippier is considering ripping up his contract with Wolves following the sacking of Rob Edwards. The 35-year-old is angry and feels betrayed by Wolves. Edwards being in charge was the key to his decision to join the club last week. Trippier was shocked to learn the news this morning from someone outside the club, just 2 days after he was paraded as a Wolves marquee summer signing. We also understand that Edwards himself found out the news from a family member and not the club. Trippier cancelled a holiday to undergo a medical and sign for Wolves this week. Edwards was desperate to sign the defender and Raul Jimenez. Trippier chose Wolves over a number of other clubs. The defender has essentially signed a pre-contract, so Wolves on July the 1st, when his contract at Newcastle ends. As a result, he's currently considering his options. Bernardo Silva is close to finalising the deal to sign for Real Madrid. Everything is on course for him to move to the Bernabeu after leaving Manchester City, and he's likely to become Jose Mourinho's first signing in his second stint as Real Madrid boss. Barcelona and Atletico Madrid have also made offers to Bernardo Silva. Newcastle are in talks with Osasuna over a deal to sign Victor Munoz. Positive talks have taken place over the last few days, but there is no agreement yet. Reports in Spain suggest Osasuna are looking for around £35 million for the former Real Madrid man. Munoz is currently with Spain at their World Cup base in Tennessee. Osasuna have also recently changed coach, which is complicating things. Newcastle are cautious after missing out on Zadok Johanna to Brighton last week. Jadon Sancho will leave Manchester United on a free transfer at the end of his contract this summer, 5 years after joining the club for £73 million. The 26-year-old winger will depart Old Trafford, having spent the last 2 seasons away from the club on loan at Chelsea and Aston Villa respectively. He joined to fanfare from Borussia Dortmund in 2021 after scoring 50 goals in 137 games for the German side, but managed just 12 in 83 across 5 seasons in the Northwest. Casemiro and Tyrell Malacia, as previously announced, are also leaving the club following the expiration of their contracts. And Brentford have appointed Damien Duff as their first team assistant coach. The 47-year-old who managed Shelbourne between November 2021 and June 2025 will begin work later this month. As a player, Duff won 2 Premier League titles with Chelsea and 100 Republic of Ireland caps. I've known Damien for a long time, said Bees head coach Keith Andrews. I've seen him up close throughout his coaching journey. We've been on courses together and worked together as coaches with the Republic of Ireland national team. Damien will bring experience, presence and a real level of detail to our coaching department. He will add to the great group we already have, and I'm very pleased that he is joining us. So there you have it. Those are the main topics coming through today. So a couple to give my opinion on. Kieran Trippier with Wolves. wow, that's a bit of kick in the teeth, isn't it? The guy signed for them basically because he got on really well with Edwards and wanted to go there for him. He convinced him to go, and then before he knows it, without any kind of notice, Edwards has gone and Trippier is left in the kind of wilderness, not really knowing what the answer is. I guess a lot will depend really on what Wolves do next in terms of talking him around. Who's going to be the new head coach? Will they share the same vision and so on? So it is a bit of an interesting situation for Trippier, who did have other options. So we'll see how that one progresses. But yeah, not very good news for Kieran, to be fair. Getting certain promises and only to be let down straight away. And the other one I kind of wanted to touch on is the Jadon Sancho one, which I think is such a real shame, isn't it? It just really does show you how a player's attitude really makes the difference. They can have all the talent in the world, and clearly Jadon Sancho does have talent, but if their work ethic, their attitude, and how they get on with other people isn't right, then it's just not going to work out. He was hailed as this great new thing when he moved from Dortmund. He had a great season there, played really well, and he looked a real player. He's gone to Manchester United. It's all gone Pete Tong there. And I know they've had their ups and downs with various different managers and so on and so forth. So you think a loan away at Chelsea and Aston Villa would have given him an opportunity to really show what he's about, what he's got. And neither of those clubs have been willing to take him on. So there has to be a reason for that. I remember watching Jadon Sancho play for Chelsea at White Hart Lane not that long ago. And I thought he played really well. I thought he was outstanding. I think he scored against us and set up got an assist or something like that a couple of seasons ago, maybe. So it's really disappointing to see a player of that quality just fall by the wayside. And it happens so often, doesn't it? You know, you see it with so many different players, how it just doesn't work out. Ndombele springs to mind for Tottenham for sure, where the attitude and so on just didn't work. And I think that's the case. I think that's the case here. I think Bissouma is probably another one who we're kind of having that similar issue with, isn't it? So it really does boggle the mind. I know if you just take another example of Jed Spence, a lot of issues were around Jed Spence, why he wasn't really coming through and so on and so forth. But he's managed to turn that around to a certain extent, and now playing for England, he's at the World Cup and so on and so forth. So it shows it can be done, provided the player knuckles down and recognises that their career is short and some things are more important than maybe your own attitude or whatever. You have to learn from your coaches and so on. But anyway, I'll keep it short and sweet. That's it from me today. So thanks for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are watching on YouTube, please do like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'm Lee The Dorset Spur. I do have my own channel, so if you'd like to pop across and say hi, I'd really appreciate the support. It'd be great to have you there. And I'll see you on our next one. And as always, up the Spurs.